Kids, safe schools.
Zero tolerance. Guns and drugs off the street.
If you commit a violent crime in Lee County, we will put you behind bars at the Marceno Motel. It's that simple.
Happy Wednesday, Lee County. I'm Public Information Officer Nestor Montoya, joined alongside Sheriff Carmine Marceno for this special episode of Midweek with Marceno. Sheriff, so our deputies go through thousands of investigations, and even though each one has multiple layers, there's one thing in common, and that's that every case has evidence.
That's right. Our property and evidence building is amazing. It's over 40,000 square feet and evidence that dates back to 1961 to today's date. Each piece of evidence, it could be something just as small as a bullet casing. It could be a vehicle. It could be a boat. No matter what it is, it's stored out there, and it is amazing to see.
Yeah, you mentioned the oldest piece of evidence that we have. It's black and white photo negatives from a death investigation in 1961. Kind of incredible to think that after all these decades, that it's still there and still preserved.
Evidence is evidence, and we have to preserve it. There's a chain of custody. We have to protect it, preserve it, because these cases that go back to 1961, there's no closure there. It's not closed out. It's someone's family member. It's not just a case number. It might be someone's family member that was killed. It's a loss of life. We have one choice, and that is to protect it, preserve it, to ensure that someday we can maybe get closure.
And it's interesting to see this hub, as I'll term it, after every investigation, say it be a narcotics case, domestic violence case, these pieces of evidence are essentially collected, held here until that case is closed.
And everyone always jokes and asks about narcotics specifically. Well, what are you doing with narcotics? Because again, we take in large amounts of narcotics. We have a whole room just for the marijuana. It has to be stored properly. I mean, when you open it, you can immediately smell, what's inside there. We have to dispose of things properly. When those cases are closed, we destroy the evidence. Some of it has to be destroyed in certain types of ways. Sometimes the weapons themselves, the guns, are burnt into manhole covers. Other times, narcotics is disposed of properly. I mean, we got to do things the way we have to do them. But then there's other cases where, things are not disposed of, and it can't hurt anybody, and we can donate them to local charities and stuff like that. So again, when those cases are closed, it brings a whole different dynamic.
Or even, let's say, a watch that could have had an important piece of an investigation. Once that case is closed, it's probably returned over to that owner, their family.
If we can't find the owner, we can't find a family member, then we can turn it over to a charity, to a local business, again, when it has no more evidentially the value. So it's a great unit, and they do such an amazing job. And sometimes they're off-site, so they're kind of the behind-the-scenes heroes, because no one gets to see them regularly. They don't see them on the street in a marked patrol unit. They don't see them at headquarters, but they work so hard behind the scenes, and it's very, very technical. Very technical.
Organized, too.
Structured, organized to the T. I mean, the building itself, again, 40,000 square feet. It's amazing, amazing. What they do, how they do it, I mean, it is so critically important to our mission, and not just today's mission, not the future mission, but missions that date way back decades.
Absolutely, and it definitely takes a special person to do that. Aside from all the other skills and qualifications, you have to be very detail-oriented.
This is a person that goes back there that pays close attention to every single detail, crosses every T, dots every I. You need to be organized, structured. Even still, you walk through that unit, you walk through that building. In the back of the building, there's vehicles that were involved in fatal crashes. And even if you don't know exactly what took place, there's a case number assigned, and you walk by and you look and you say, wow, what is that exactly? What happened there? But there's been loss of life. It's property and evidence. It's evidence in some type of major case. And then again, from a vehicle to just a casing. It's amazing. We have it all.
And every piece has a story.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this edition of Midweek with Marceno. We hope that you got to learn a little bit more about our evidence division with our forensics unit.
Thank you, Nestor. Appreciate it.